All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we are diving into a really unique theory from End Times Productions. It's a story that tries to connect the dots between UFOs, deep government secrets, and, believe it or not, ancient prophecy, all based on their reading of declassified documents. Okay, let's get right into it.
You know, when we talk about UFOs, or UAPs as they're called now, our minds usually jump straight to extraterrestrials, right? Beings from distant galaxies zipping across the cosmos to visit us. But the source material we're digging into today asks a fascinating question. What if their origin isn't from out there in space, but from somewhere else entirely?
And here it is, the central claim of this whole theory, that the phenomenon we call alien is actually interdimensional. We're talking about beings from a reality that exists right alongside our own, just hidden from our view, normally. And the real kicker, according to this account, the US government has known about this for decades.
So if these entities weren't cruising in from another star system, how did they get here? Well, according to this story, it didn't start with a spaceship landing. Nope, it started with an occult ritual right in the middle of the California desert.
At the center of this is a man named Jack Parsons. And what a character he was. On one hand, he's this brilliant, self-taught rocket scientist, a founder of NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory. I mean, the guy was a genius. But on the other hand, he was a devoted follower of the infamous occultist Aleister Crowley. A true walking contradiction.
So Parsons teams up with L. Ron Hubbard. Yeah, that L. Ron Hubbard, the founder of Scientology. And they performed this intense series of rituals called the Babylon Working. According to Parsons' own writings, cited by the source, it was a success. They believed they had literally torn a hole in the fabric of space-time and opened a portal. And what happens right after this supposed portal is opened? Suddenly you see this massive explosion of paranormal activity all across America. We're talking about the famous Roswell crash in '47, the Kenneth Arnold sightings that same year, and by 1953, a whole swarm of UFOs was seen flying right over the White House. The source connects these dots, arguing this ritual opened the floodgates, forcing the government to start paying attention, very, very secretly. So you can imagine the panic. Reports are flooding in from all over. The government is scrambling, and according to this source, they create this super-secret, off-the-books program to figure out what in the world is going on, completely hidden from any kind of public or congressional oversight.
But here's where it gets really strange. This secret group, it fractured almost immediately. The source claims the main faction started using occult rituals themselves to try and communicate with these beings, hoping to get their hands on advanced technology. But a smaller, influential group within the program, known as the Collins Elite, made up of devout Christians, they were horrified. They basically put on the brakes and said, whoa, wait a minute, you guys don't get it. These aren't just aliens we can make deals with. These are demonic forces, fallen angels.
Now you might be thinking this all sounds like a wild movie plot. But the source points to what they call a bombshell piece of evidence, a real, declassified document, to back up their claim that the government knew exactly what it was dealing with from the very beginning. Okay, so check this out. It's FBI document 6751, and you can go look this up yourself. It's on the FBI's own public vault website. This memo, written way back in the 1940s, says it flat out, these beings are not extraterrestrial. It describes them as interdimensional beings from what it calls the ethereal plane. Now, the source notes that while it was officially dismissed because the information came from supernormal or paranormal means, it was then allegedly classified and sent straight to the top.
And the story gets even more intense from here. It claims that this whole unbelievable situation lands directly on the desk of President Eisenhower himself, and he has to come face to face with these entities and make a choice that could alter the course of human history.
The source material details two alleged, top-secret meetings between Ike and two different factions of these beings. The first was at Edwards Air Force Base, where the official cover story was that the president had a sudden dental emergency. The second, a year later at Holloman Air Force Base, reportedly had eyewitnesses seeing UFOs land to meet with the president.
So in these meetings, Eisenhower is supposedly presented with a stark choice, a real fork in the road. On one side, you have a group described as the Nordics, or tall whites, and they come with a dire warning. They say, do not trust the other guys, the grays. They are deceptive, they will lie to you, and they want to enslave humanity. But then the grays make their own tempting offer. Work with us, and we'll give you incredible, advanced technology.
And according to this account, Eisenhower made his choice. He rejected the warning, and he took the deal. He chose technology. This alleged pact gave the Greys the green light to operate in deep underground military bases right here on Earth, setting a very dangerous precedent for all of us.
So this begs a huge question. What's the endgame here? Why all the secrecy, the deals, the technology? Well, the source posits that this is anything but random. It's all part of a meticulously planned long game, a plan that's been in motion for millennia.
And what is that long game? From this perspective, the ultimate goal is to prepare humanity for one final global deception. The idea is that these beings, who the source identifies as fallen angels, will provide the lying signs and wonders needed to pave the way for a future Antichrist figure to rise and unite the world.
And to give you a sense of the sheer scale of this supposed threat, the source goes back to biblical interpretations suggesting that 1/3 of the angels fell from heaven. If you run the numbers based on those ancient texts, they estimate there could be anywhere from 30 to over 50 million of these fallen angels, these interdimensional entities on Earth right now.
The final act in this grand deception, the source claims, will be some kind of massive, world-changing event designed to completely shatter our modern secular worldview. And that whole good alien, bad alien narrative from the Eisenhower meeting, that was supposedly just setting the stage, creating a good cop, bad cop dynamic to manipulate humanity into accepting a supernatural-seeming savior when he finally appears.
So when you weave it all together, the occult history, the alleged government documents, and the biblical prophecy, the source material we've looked at presents a startling narrative that really challenges conventional thinking about UFOs. And it leaves us with one big question to think about. Is the ultimate threat we face from outer space, or is it from a different dimension entirely?